When will the American people finally realize that it doesn't matter who you vote for? Every vote is a vote for them. How long will it take for us to realize this? Who is really in control? Who really pulls the strings and pushes the buttons of American power? Is it the President of the United States, or is it the President of the United States' new butler? This is absolutely disgusting what is going on. And we are going to talk about what Donald Trump said in the presence of Putin and the press corps as he was basically telling the American people, Gaza's ours. We will take over the Gaza Strip. We will level it. We will take over that piece, and we're going to develop it. And this is a long-term position. When are we going to realize that this is nothing more than warmongering? And let me just ask you this question. How would you feel if China made such a declaration? Well, the Chinese government is going to take over the state of New Jersey, and we will level it, and we will do a good job with it. We're going to take over that piece of land, or we're going to take over Oklahoma or Arizona or New Mexico. How would you feel if another foreign power said that about us? And here's Donald Trump saying that that is exactly what he's going to do with Gaza. And how are you going to do that without spending a whole bunch of money and sending a whole bunch of troops? Listen to this.
Mr. President, given what you've said about Gaza, did the U.S. send troops to help secure the security vacuum?
Now, I'm going to put his exact quote on the screen as he says this, so there's no misunderstanding about what he said.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
It's all about the bombs. It's all about the safety of the people. It's all about creating jobs and creating a situation where they can have peace and prosperity. I've got a couple more highlights from this. Buckle your seatbelts because it gets crazy.
As far as Gaza is concerned, we'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over that piece, and we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs, and it'll be something that the entire Middle East can be very proud of. But everybody feels that continuing the same process that's gone on forever, over and over again, and then it starts, and then the killing starts, and all of the other problems start.
So we got to stop the historical cycle. We've got to stop the killing. And the only way to do that is for the U.S. to take over Gaza, to level it. Let me just remind you exactly what he said in regard to that. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a good job with it too. We will own it and be responsible for dismantling all the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site, and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out. Create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. So, of course, the tyrant, as all tyrants do, will say, well, it's for the safety of the people. It's for the well-being and welfare of the people of the Middle East that we're going to do this. So, obviously, government has to own this place, right?
You are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there, redevelopment? And Mr. Prime Minister, do you see this idea as a way to expand the boundaries of Israel and to have a longer peace, even though the Israeli people know how important that land is to you and your citizens, just as the space is inherited by the Palestinians as well?
And here's Netanyahu like, we're going to use the United States government baseball bat to beat the heads of the people in Gaza so that we can own that strip and level it and create our casinos and expand our borders.
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to.
long-term ownership position. So the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip and establish a long-term ownership position.
That part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves.
Look at Netanyahu's face. He can just barely contain the joy.
Loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will.
Look at, he's just smirking. Just smirking. He's a criminal at large from the ICC. The ICC wants this guy tried and imprisoned for the rest of his life for war crimes and other crimes against humanity.
Be magnificent.
And we welcome him with open arms on United States soil. In your United States, a war criminal is allowed to reside, but then we have war criminals as presidents of the United States. So it's no big deal to us, right?
In a really magnificent area that nobody would know. Nobody can look because all they see is death and destruction and rubble and demolished buildings falling all over.
Gosh, why is there death and destruction? Why are there demolished buildings? Why are there dead people all over the place? Whose missiles are those? Oh, right. That's right. Israel. And where did they get those missiles? Where'd they get the Iron Dome missile defense system? Oh, that's right. From the American government. Where did they get the $3.8 billion every single year? Oh, yeah, from the U.S. government, whether Republican or Democrat. How much before he left office did Biden shovel over to Bibi? How many billions are going to go into the pockets of Israel? See, this right here is donor money at work. This is Miriam Adelson, $140 million at work. This is Israel putting loads and loads of money in Trump's pocket. And this is what they're going to get for this deal. Oh, we're leveling Gaza. We're going to level it out. We're going to destroy everything. We're going to build it from the ground up. We're going to get developers in there. We're going to make a whole bunch of money. This is going to be a long-term position.
Just a terrible sight. I've studied it. I've studied this very closely over a lot of months, and I've seen it from every different angle. And it's a very, very dangerous place to be. And it's only going to get worse. And I think this is an idea that's gotten tremendous, and I'm talking about from the highest level of leadership, gotten tremendous praise. And if the United States can help to bring stability and peace in the Middle East, we'll do that.
There's instability. There's destruction. There's concrete buildings falling on children. Why is that? Now people will go, Brian, it's not because of Israel. It's because of Hamas. Hamas is the Iran-funded terrorist group. They got to be taken out, Brian. Just do a little bit of research. Who created Hamas? And then while you're at it, open up another tab and then query who created Al-Qaeda. Who created Hamas, when and why? Who created Al-Qaeda, when and why? And then ask yourself, is this a problem, reaction, solution scenario? Is this a Hegelian dialectic playing out from before my very eyes? They create or co-opt a problem, wait for the fear-based reaction. Oh my God, Hamas is on the scene. You got to do something about it. And then step in to provide the pre-planned solution. Hey, we're going to level Gaza. We're going to own Gaza. And this is going to be a long-term position. But wait. There's more.
Okay,
follow up on what you were saying there.
This is Caitlin Collins from the Counterfeit News Network.
Go ahead, please.
Just to follow up on what you were saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries. One, where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision a world, people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work. And you have to learn from history. History has, just can't let it keep repeating itself. We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent.
We're going to level Gaza and make it the Riviera of the Middle East. And in case you think, well, Trump doesn't really mean that, you have to understand the very first quote, he was reading from his own notes. He didn't just misspeak. Let me demonstrate that to you right now. Listen to how White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt answers the question about Gaza.
The president is committed to eliminating Hamas and securing a lasting peace for the entire region. The historic proposal for the United States to take over Gaza, announced by President Trump last night.
To take over Gaza. So it's being reiterated by Trump's press secretary. They're not mincing words here. They're literally saying that the U.S. is going to take over Gaza. How many trillions of dollars is that going to cost us? How many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives are we going to have to throw at this for bankers to be even more enriched and more empowered than they already are? Are you willing, as a soldier of the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines, or Space Force, to put your life on the line for yet another banker war, as long as it's initiated by Donald Trump? What is going on here? But wait, there's more to this too.
Underscores this commitment. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. President Trump is an outside-of-the-box thinker and a visionary leader who solves problems that many others, especially in this city, claim are unsolvable. We've already seen the results from President Trump's bold peace through strength diplomacy on the world stage. Garrett, great to see you here today.
Peace through strength, or might makes right.
Thank you. On Gaza, the president has spent basically his entire public career criticizing foreign entanglements, nation building, sending American troops to fight abroad, particularly in the Middle East. This plan seems like it could ultimately involve all of those things. Can you explain this reversal and how building and owning Gaza squares with America First foreign policy?
I would reject the premise of your question that this forces the United States to be entangled in conflicts abroad. The president has not committed to putting boots on the ground in Gaza.
He has not committed not to no, boots are not going on the ground in Gaza. He's not said that either. He's not committed to putting boots on the ground. But how are you going to take over Gaza? How is the United States going to take over Gaza unless U.S. boots are on the ground?
He has also said that the United States is not going to pay for...
Are we talking about a proxy war? Are we talking about an Afghanistan scenario where they draw this thing out for 10 to 15 years, spending trillions and trillions in tax cattle dollars?
The rebuilding of Gaza. His administration...
Sorry, I interrupted here. Let's just go back.
Conflicts abroad. The president has not committed to putting boots on the ground in Gaza. He has also said that the United States is not going to pay for the rebuilding of Gaza. His administration is going to work with our partners in the region to reconstruct this region. And let me just take a step back here, because this is an out-of-the-box idea. That's who President Trump is. That's why the American people elected him. And his goal is lasting peace in the Middle East for all people in the region. And as I said in my opening remarks, we've had the same...
And we can't have lasting peace unless the United States controls Gaza and Greenland and Canada and a whole lot of other places. Panama.
People...
The Panama Canal.
Pushing the same solutions to this problem for decades. And it's been made very clear to the president that the United States needs to be involved in this rebuilding effort to ensure stability in the region for all people. But that does not mean...
She just said the U.S. needs to be involved in the rebuilding effort. Well, how will the U.S. be involved unless U.S. soldiers are involved in making that happen?
Boots on the ground in Gaza. It does not mean American taxpayers will be funding this effort. It means Donald Trump, who is the best deal maker on the planet, is going to strike a deal with our partners in the region.
He did not rule out American troops in Gaza last night. Are you doing that now?
I am saying that the president has not committed to that just yet. He has not made that commitment, and you know that.
And on the foreign partners, the Jordanians, the Egyptians, the Saudis have already panned this plan. What foreign partners, if any, have expressed any interest in being part of it?
Well, the president has said he's been socialing this idea for quite some time. He's been thinking about this. He said in his remarks last night, this was not a decision or an announcement that he takes lightly. And the president has already spoken to the President al-Sisi. In fact, that was his first foreign leader call. He's meeting with the King of Jordan, King Abdullah, next week. He spoke with the King of Bahrain. He spoke with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. And he has made it very clear, he's been very vocal, that he expects our partners in the region, particularly Egypt and Jordan, to accept Palestinian refugees temporarily so that we can rebuild their home. I'd like to show you some images of Gaza that were taken. Fox News aired this. I mean, that is, as they put it, in an apocalyptic scene in Gaza. This is an uninhabitable place for human beings. Do you really think that families can...
Gosh, how did it get like that? Apocalyptic scene in Gaza as Israel bombs terror targets? Did you get any terrorists in that? We know you got a lot of civilians. We know a whole lot of people have died. This is the problem, reaction, solution thing. Hey, Gaza is uninhabitable because of our allies in Israel. And now we get to level we get to march in there. We get to take control of it. We get to level it, and we get to build it up in the image and in the interests of economic and military and United States empire building. Leave your thoughts about this. I don't want to belabor this point, but this is really, really bad. We are talking about warmongering here, and you don't hear any words of dissent coming from Team MAGA. Very, very little. Very few people are against this because they're drinking the MAGA flavored Kool-Aid. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. I will see you in the next video.